Welcome to a special episode of Scared in the Name of Science. We are taking a little break whilst we work on the Season 2 Fairies episodes. And I thought I'd come into your feed to give you a little bit of a fun trip up north from where me and Al are based in Wales. So I've asked one of my very good friends, Liv, to give us a little Scottish special, I guess we'll call this. Liv, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, that works. Hi, I'm Liv. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me choose the topic, which is going to be today Green Ladies.
I'm so excited for this because although I've heard a little bit about them when I was researching Ladies in Black and Ladies of the Lake, I don't know anything about them, so I'm really excited to see what you found.
Oh, I'm excited to tell you. I spent a long time. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. But yes, brief intro about me. I'm also a science person. Sorry, Roxxi.
How dare you?
I know. Please forgive me. But I am more of a biologist, so less logical maybe than Al, since I think Al's more of a chemistry person.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. But yeah, I would also consider myself pretty open to the spooky side of things. And personally, I do blame the existence of Edinburgh for that. Anyone who's been there.
Yeah, it's... you can't really walk down a street without getting hit in the face by a ghost, really.
I would imagine so. They're quite polite, generally.
A polite ghost.
Honestly, yeah. So far on Sitnos, you guys had your episode on Black and White Ladies, and I loved those episodes. And when you were... You're welcome. So when you were saying, like, you only touched on Green Ladies on your research into Black and White Ladies, I was kind of the other way around. I only really learnt about Black and White Ladies from your podcast more than I did from the background. I heard more about Green Ladies growing up than Black and White Ladies.
Interesting. I wonder if that's a locality issue. Not issue, but like a locality difference or something. Yeah, it's a problem, Liv.
God, stop having weird colours. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. But it's an interesting thing to think about because it's not that far away when you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys went into that. You talked about the narratives, the motives. There was vengeance. There was abandonment. And there was all sorts of action to explain why these apparitions were happening. And I love that you were going for a sort of bestiary as well, like classifying types of ghosts. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, it's what we started off with for our idea and then kind of have ended up deviating massively. And I think that was a little bit my fault with the ABCs, I'm not gonna lie.
That confused me so much and I loved it. They were so good.
It was a very fun episode.
10 out of 10, do recommend if you haven't listened to it already. Gosh, what are you doing?
So, tell me then, Liv, what's up with Green Ladies?
What is up? So yeah, there's quite a lot. The more research I did, the more I realised there was a lot more colourful ladies, like green ladies, in Scotland than there were black and white ones. I was spoiled for choice. There's Fyvie Castle Green Lady, Stirling Castle's Green Lady. They also have a pink lady, and it just really brought it home that it was more common up north, and it was really interesting. Even more so because the situations these ladies were supposed to be in was quite similar. There was loss, romance, betrayal, babies. It was weird. It was like the same stories or very similar stories, but for some reason the colouring was important and different.
That's really interesting that you said about different colours, because I know since the episodes I've managed to find like a lady in red, but that was the extent of it so far.
Really? Well, you have many choices north of the border, like I say. So Fyvie Castle that I mentioned a second ago, apparently she's seen cradling an infant by the fire, and then in the fire they found the bones of a child.
Oh,
I know, it's sad. But yeah, the Stirling Castle Green Lady, apparently she died in a fire, which I thought was interesting because that's slightly different.
That is.
But the Green Lady I decided on in the end was the Green Lady of Fyvie Castle, which is up in Aberdeenshire near Turriff, which I haven't been to, but it looks absolutely stunning, and we should absolutely go to it because it's got cursed rooms, magic stones, death masks in the library, whole shebang.
Hang on, What's a death mask?
So when somebody dies, sometimes they take a sort of cast of their face and turn it into an ornamental mask.
Why on earth would you do that? What?
So you remember what the person looked like?
What? When they're dead?
When they're dead. Like, it's like when you have a picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, I assume this was pre-photography then?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Still seems a little bit strange to me, but yeah, okay, crack on.
I think the weird bit is the fact it was a convicted criminal. They
Yeah,
saw someone
definitely.
get, like, hung, and they went, I want his face in my library forever.
They must have been related, right?
I have no idea. I couldn't find any information beyond the fact that this guy was executed and his death mask somehow ended up in the library.
Okay,
Everyone
cool,
has a
yeah,
hobby.
crack on. Yeah, everyone's entitled to their own taste and decoration.
Well, that's it, you know? Some
Yeah.
people like patterns on their drapes, others like death masks in their library.
Totally.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, our castle's green lady has a name, Lilias Drummond.
It goes through the name confirmed. Love it.
We love to see it. She became Lilias Seaton when she got married, which was 1592, so that's the kind of ballpark we're playing here.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the National Trust for Scotland, the story is that Lilias failed to provide a male heir after having 5 daughters, which she did have. I found records for the 5 daughters. Ouch. And her husband, who was also a real guy, I found extensive records of him because he was apparently very wealthy and very influential.
Okay.
Alexander Seaton. He was like, you're not giving me a son, so I'm going to lock you in a room in Fyvie Castle and you can starve to death.
I mean, that would definitely ensure he did not receive a male heir.
It would. It really would. But he had a solution. He had a cunning plan. So I think it was a few weeks to a month, if I'm remembering correctly, of Lilias passing away in 1601, he got married again. Woohoo!
Oh, okay, sure.
Yep. He got married in the October of 1601, so within the same year, definitely.
Oh, wow, what a man. What a angel.
A real delight. And his second wife, Griselle Leslie, rocks up.
We've got so many interesting names here. This is fascinating.
Yeah, what happened to names? Why don't we have that anymore?
I don't know what you're on about. My name's amazing.
Okay, your name's amazing, but you picked it. So, yeah, Griselle rocks up. She gets married to Alexander. They're in Fyvie Castle to consummate their marriage. Oh, lovely. Until, gasp, ghostly sound effect. They hear sobbing, moaning, wailing, and I think scratching sounds as well, coming from outside.
That is not what I'd want on my wedding night, not gonna lie.
Not ideal.
No,
not my favourite wedding pastime.
Definitely not.
For real. And then they discovered later after that outside their window of the room, on the windowsill, was the name Dame Lilias Drummond.
No way.
Yes, way.
Was it carved on the inside of the building looking out, or was it on the outside of the building looking in?
So it was like the outside looking in. You'd have to be outside for it to be the right way up.
Whoa. Okay. That's fascinating.
Exactly, because this is quite high up. This is a centuries-old castle.
Yeah.
And on the upper floors, and upside down as well. The practicality of that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you really wanted to, you could go see it. It is still there.
They've kept it.
They have kept it, so you can go on a tour of the castle and you'll see it on the windowsill of, I think they call it the Green Room.
Okay, cool. So if the cursed room didn't, clinch it for me, we need to go see this ghost lady's handwriting.
For sure. There's so much going on in that castle. I could go off. Now, wife number 2 was not the last wife. Alexander had 3 wives. What a player. And this is all based on his memoir, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So he had Lilias, who died in 1601, Griselle, that got married in 1601, and Griselle died in 1606, but her first kid was called Lilias. So this guy named his firstborn from his second wife after his dead wife.
A little bit awkward, but I mean, everything this man does sounds questionable, so I guess that tracks.
It does. Problematic men, going back. Here they are. So Lilias actually was quite interesting. Lilias the Second.
Yes.
She never married, and her records were actually a lot easier to find, which was cool.
Okay.
But yeah, she didn't get married. She just was loaded and had a good time, and I respect
Good
that.
for her. Yeah.
But while her records were easy to find, Lilias the First was not so easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
And I could find stuff on her husband, but not her very much. Just in relation to her husband or her dad. So thank you, sexism, for that one.
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't surprise me thinking of the time period then.
Definitely, definitely. As I say, she's mentioned in the memoirs for her husband, and she has a find a grave entry.
Aww.
Yeah. So I couldn't find anything other than that to sort of confirm what kind of person she was. Like, I couldn't find a birth certificate or a death certificate, but I could find record of her marriage. So she existed. I just assume most of this was never digitized.
Yeah, it could be.
Because, 1600, we're a bit, pre the scanner.
And I think it's also worth bearing in mind that, there are some records from further back, but not all records are going to have survived the ages.
Yeah, definitely. And I think around the time in Scotland there was quite a lot of conflict to do with religion, and keeping records of that would have been ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this meant I couldn't actually find out how she died.
So you couldn't confirm it?
Yeah, I couldn't confirm if she did starve to death in a random room. But I did find out where she's buried.
Okay.
She is buried in Dunfermline, in Fife.
Ooh, that's not too far from you, is it?
It's not. I could literally go when I'm off work or whatever one day and go pay her a wee visit, which I might
think
do.
You should.
I should pop in and say hello.
Yeah,
like, sorry your husband was...
Yeah, sorry, Lilias.
Rip and Pip, I'm so sorry your husband was weird. But that also begs the question of why she's haunting a castle in Aberdeenshire if she's buried in Dunfermline.
Yeah, good point.
And something else I thought was interesting with this story was some people, or quite a lot of people, say that Lilias is our Green Lady.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say it was someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of thinking it might be someone else.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently, in the 1920s, they found a skeleton in the walls of the castle.
Skeleton find, yes.
Skeleton find. The local paper for Aberdeen, the Press and Journal, had an article in their archives about it, but the archives don't go much further back, and I couldn't find anything else from other papers. So we have 2 bone walls. Hopefully not another one.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah, we have a Green Lady showing up in Fyvie Castle, which is either someone who was in a wall and buried in a wall, or someone who is buried like 80 miles away.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And I also had a look at what sort of spooky happenings they reported to do with their Green Lady.
Yeah.
So the staff at the castle, because obviously it's a castle, it's fancy, they have people living there. They say that the alarms go off for no reason near Lilias's room and the library where the death mask is.
Okay.
So the library is also directly below Lilias's bedroom where she apparently died.
Wait, hang on. So he buried her in his bedroom wall and then consummated the marriage with his new wife in that bedroom.
So he's consummated the marriage with his new wife in that bedroom, and then a long time later, 1920s, they found someone in the walls.
Okay, interesting.
So I'm thinking perhaps either Lilias has found her way into the wall, or our Green Lady might not be Lilias after all.
Okay, yeah. Someone else was snooping.
Someone else. But they didn't have an identity for their skeleton. They just said that weird things started happening, so they actually put it back, apparently.
Oh! Wait, the skeleton is currently in the wall.
As far as I know, it's still there. They put it back.
Yeah, death mask skeleton in the wall. Who wouldn't want to visit?
Yeah, what a treat.
Yeah.
Family outing.
Yeah.
So they have all this stuff going on, and all of these potential sort of identities for our Green Lady. And that kind of brought me back to the why is she green? Because we have with your black and white ladies a betrayal from a lover, which seemed pretty solid betrayal, Starved to death in a room, also meet my new wife.
Yeah.
We have a nice gothic looking, not gothic, a nice medieval castle for
Yeah.
backdrop. We have all of these sort of signs, but she's green.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know how Al was saying that maybe it was the Victorian president for black being for mourning or white for burial shrouds?
Yeah.
I have a new proposal.
Well, can I put one of my theories forward?
Of course.
So, if it's green, green tends to link to the idea of the colour of envy.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, this is going to be, not to like throw in Mr. Shakespeare again, but to throw in Mr. Shakespeare, the idiom of green-eyed with jealousy actually comes from one of his plays. So that link of the colour green being jealousy could maybe explain why she's a green lady. If it is Lilias, maybe she's jealous of the new wife.
Maybe.
But that's just a theory. What's yours?
So my theory is a little bit more niche.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an old superstition, particularly in the Highlands.
Oh, yeah?
Wearing green is unlucky.
What?
Yeah, I read a paper about it, and the author was saying their dad refused to let them to wear green because it was unlucky. And it actually reminded me of my dad.
Okay.
He refuses to buy or drive green cars because they're unlucky. So it's definitely a thing.
I've never heard of that, ever.
See? I was like, oh, hang on, this might be an us thing. So most people think it's wealth, fortune. You know, that's usually what you go for when you think of green.
Yeah.
But in some places up north, it's definitely unlucky for your kids. So you shouldn't dress your kids in green. And I found a quote: "The bad luck is enforced at wedding celebrations in the northeast of Scotland," which is where Fyvie Castle is.
Wait, what? I don't understand that.
So we have green being unlucky for colours to wear.
Yeah.
And they also say it's especially bad for wedding celebrations.
Right, okay. So if you wear green to a wedding celebration or have the colour green, it'll be even worse? Right, okay, I'm with you now, yeah.
So this is particularly in the northeast, which is where Fyvie Castle is. So I'm starting to wonder if the colour of the ghost is less to do with the person who has died and more to do with the time and place of the person seeing the ghost.
Ooh, interesting. So the viewer's perception maybe alters the colour?
Yeah, like it alters how they perceive it. I mean, these are like other dimensional or supernatural entities, right?
Yeah.
Why would they have to follow normal physics for colours?
That's true. You have to wonder as well, though, in terms of the different colours, about whether or not it's because when they come through on the light spectrum, they come through at different frequencies.
Definitely, that's a really interesting idea.
But I feel like, once again, that is physics, and we're not going to delve into physics here.
Physics is hard, it scares me. So, yeah, I thought maybe that this green would come from a cultural thing, and if it's being perceived by different people, it's having a different colour.
Okay.
Someone called John Hutching wrote a paper, and it was literally all about the colour green. A whole thing. And he said something quite interesting, which kind of sealed it for me. And he said, colour can mean whatever you want it to mean, and it certainly varies by individual, place, time, and culture. I'm thinking that these green ladies are tied together not so much by tragedy specifically, but by just the idea of misfortune, where they have been seen.
Okay, that's fascinating.
And this misfortune wasn't their fault either, which might play into it, because I remember you guys talking about who was to blame in some of the Black Lady and White Lady stories.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you think? What do you think, Rob?
I think this idea that maybe it's the viewer that would pursue the colours differently is quite a unique frame of mind, because unfortunately that doesn't then explain mass viewings and why this category of different coloured ghosts is only linked to females as well. You never have a man in black or a white man, like you never hear of that ever. It's always just a male ghost.
That is actually a really interesting point, which it could be to do with how we are perceiving like women.
Okay.
Because these women are in a sort of subversive position, I suppose. They're the subject of a misfortune. They've lost a child. They've been betrayed by a lover. They've died in a house fire. These are things that have happened to them, but men, I suppose you have less of a idea in your head of that happening.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I never really thought we'd get into a discussion about sexism and ghosts.
I'm so sorry.
But that is really that is a really really interesting theory, and you do have to wonder about whether there is a layer of voyeurism to this, in that we perceive women as needing reason to come back and be ghosts, whereas with men it's just like, okay, yeah, they're here because they've clearly got unfinished business. Whereas with women, we always think, oh, they must have been mistreated or have some kind of misfortune. So I do wonder if we need to start questioning why that perception is there. If a man ghost can just be there because, why can't a female ghost?
Exactly.
Hmm.
And the thing is, with some of these sightings in Fyvie Castle, she doesn't seem to be upset.
Okay.
Like, there's very little reports of that wailing from when they consummated their marriage.
Mm.
There's not very much of that. Apparently she makes the room smell like roses.
Oh, that's quite sweet. Maybe she's just there because she wants to be there.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe we've tacked this story on because we need something to have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe she just wanted to hang around.
Yeah, and check out her 5 kids and make sure they were okay.
Yeah, and her husband's second and third wife's kids. And
yeah, her namesake.
Yeah, you gotta see how Lilias II is doing.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think I like that better than this idea of the women are there because something happened to them or anything like that. They just want a vibe.
Exactly. Wouldn't you want to just vibe if you had a massive castle?
And see, now that is, do you know what? That is the most valid reason I've heard so far. Like, you put all that money, all that time and effort into getting yourself into this amazing marriage with this fabulous house that's got magic stones. Heck yeah, you know I'm haunting that for the rest of my life. I bought that thing. Give it.
It's mine. It's my turn on the haunted castle.
Even in the afterlife, it's mine.
Absolutely. Maybe that's why she wrote her name on it. My gaff.
Do you know what? That's what kids do, isn't it? They like scratch their name in so it'll always be remembered.
Exactly. So-and-so was here. She was just doing the Lilias Drummond was here.
Yeah, and the like cool S symbol as well that we all used to do.
Oh my god, yeah. Memories unlocked.
But thank you so much for this really interesting episode on Green Ladies. I really want to go and visit this place with you now, so next time I come up, we'll have to go and have a shoof day, as my grandpa used to say. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking to you about this and having some theories. If any of our listeners out there has any theories, please feel free to leave some comments below. I've really enjoyed hearing you, so thank you so much for doing the Scottish special. I might call on you next season for a Scottish Fae special or something.
Oh my gosh, yes please.
But yeah, as usual, if you guys have any stories or anything you want to share with us, please reach us at one of our various social medias. We've got Instagram, Reddit, Threads. We might be starting up a Discord soon. And we also have our email address, scaredinthenameofscience@gmail.com. But if you do have anything, then please feel free to reach out to us. #Sitnos, SITNOS. And thank you so much, Liv. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome, and anytime. We'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.